The Enlightenment Chasers. Royalties of Peace. We are still in the storms, back to peace that has no storm while holding on to perfect peace. This is episode 70 of our Golden Age podcast by Mavis Freelefine on January 19th of 2026. Yes, it is a Monday, the third Monday of January, and we know what that is. The day we honor Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. It is Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s day, a very important day in the Black history movement. Now we know when we talk about the Black history movement, it is not just about the Black race, but about everything that is opaque that must reverse into transparency. Every opaque must become transparent of its work. The battlefield of the mind, the opaqueness we are walking upon to return to transparency of the battlefield free mind. Before we zoom out, let us keep the zoom in to understanding so we can be able to walk the outside with wisdom, with a stable foundation. Zooming in to honor this day. Celebrating the Black History Month begins today. Aware this is 2026 and the United States of America is about to be 250 years of age. And what does that mean to us? After His Excellency President Donald Trump declared this time the Golden Age, commencing in 2025. The Golden Age is here. From the Dark Age to the Golden Age, the completion of enlightenment. We are not just in the light age, but at the end of it. It is unto us to sign off. Competent. Or stay in the silence of regrets. Must I ask us, do we say that we need global peace? Or should we say our world is thirsty and needs a drink to flourish? Whatever parable we may want to use to express the condition of our stage of the end goal seeking. We must realize that our words are like drops of rain onto the thirsty ground that must be saturated to fullness. We are not looking for floods, but only a parable, a figurative of expression for the physical mind to process of what the within is looking for. The within is our zooming out, and a physical experience, our zooming in. Before we talk about Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s Day, I want us to please understand the Black movement, our history to present days. It's a journey. Sometimes calling it history may seem like the past has nothing to do with us, but rather how happy it is to know how far we have come to reaching our destination from the initial step to present day. If we do not need nurses, we do not need patients or sick ones. Where there is no doctor, should have no patients. For a sign of a patient is already the demand for doctors. And with time, we begin to have doctors if we do not recover. Independence comes with acquiring knowledge. And if we do not acquire knowledge, we will need teachers. We are called to hold on to the foundation before we go out into the within. Civil Rights Act was signed into law in 1964 after a long march and preaching over segregation and discrimination among the Black and white race. This division, a complication to the expected journey of human race, a united kingdom. The division has been so disruptive and a struggle from the civil war of between the white race of the North and the South, where the North represents the educated mind and the South, the mind re-educating of no longer keeping slaves requires our coming to our senses that when the women multiply, we are only making the celestials slaves in the terrestrial world. From infancy, like slaves until the time of independence. Free at last, does not end with becoming an adult. Because when you reach the wisdom age and path, you no want to return anymore. So if we do not want to return, we must face the core of the problem and not only the surface. We must face the underlying problem that has been resonating all through from the very first of humankind, the Dark Age, until now. How can we be in light and still acting like people stumbling in the dark? Are our ancestors better than us? Or are we their better side? They have led us to the place of light to complete the work. What are we waiting for? Civil rights movement desires justice, the right for mental slavery freedom, Standing for equality can only come if women upgrade of the mind, regardless of their body figure. Fairness, regardless of color race, depends on human race and not our differences. It's not about gender, it's about a human race. Our mind must focus on human race to solve our gender issues. We understand with the help of the Harlem Renaissance, a cultural movement centered in Harlem City in New York, where the African Americans, musicians, writers, and artists, after the Civil War, celebrated their heritage and talents with the world. A kind of war with intellects, an intellectual movement, an intellectual battlefield in the face of others. Expresses that the dark has reached light. Our weapons, our microphones, our trumpets, pianos. These talented African Americans were able to come into existence, fueled by the movement of the great migration of the African Americans from the south of America to the northern cities, seeking for new opportunities after the Civil War ended in 1865. Gaining their freedom from physical white man slavery was not freedom from mental slavery, which is expressed at the Harlem Renaissance. The writing of books, musicians and talented dancers expressing the African mind in America and its battlefield, seeking for joy to reverse sadness of increasing in number. The brainstorming, seeking for battlefield free minds. Free yourself from mental slavery. It started with Jews and it started with the jazz and the blues. You could call it the Jews, the jazz and the blues, the Jews to the world. Some of the heroes of this time was Sir Duke, Sir Langton Hughes, Lady Zora Neale Huron, a writer of everyday's life and struggles. First Lady Ella Fitzgerald, Sir Louis Armstrong, a famous jazz musician and trumpet player. Lady Josephine Baker, a dancer, an entertainer in action, expresses the African experience in America, not resting. Brainstorming of the mind is still going on. The movement is still going on. Lady Zora Naylor Huston, a writer and storyteller, sharing African American culture. Our culture is all that we bring onto the table of lessons and blessings, the mistakes we must solve to fulfill the wholeness of the mind, of no longer dividing. For when we are ascending from being humans into the spiritual world, we should move in with wisdom of no more returning. When water evaporates and ice sublimes, there should be no more pouring. Therefore, the land must cease from existing and not cry for thirst. All of these great heroes and individuals who have led us to this place of our own mission accordingly, like Empress Bessie Smith, a powerful blues singer, the Empress of Blues, expecting us not to war each other, but singing unto each other, reduces the conflicts. When we understand the wisdom of no longer increasing in number, takes us even to the Boyle's Law, where the volume is constant. The increase in pressure will increase temperature, and the decrease in pressure will decrease temperature. Where the earth is constant, we do not need to move to mass to increase the volume, to neutralize the temperature, because the pressure only keeps increasing, and the more the pressure meets up with the temperature, if the volume is very large, the temperature will be very, very high if the pressure is very, very high. We cannot distort the earth. The movement should end with the earth and not increase into Mars. The volume should be constant while we're working on the pressure and the temperature. We realize with the young generation that all we need is to decrease the pressure if we want to stabilize the temperature. The high temperatures today, seeking for peace, global peace. A global peace can be reached if we understand the Boyle's Law. With Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., their march was because they had a constant volume. We are not trying to shift the volume, but to maintain this journey of trying to solve the temperature in the house, the battlefield of the mind. Decreasing in number takes understanding our destination is one and indivisible. Where there is no woman, there is no man. Is the mind battlefield free? Resolving the battlefield of the mind is where we should focus. What is peace of the mind? The mind that is satisfied of no more traveling in space, but maintaining eternity of stability and security, where there is no curiosity, fairness regardless of color, race, fairness regardless of the distance before us, Let us be satisfied with the battlefield free mind. Global peace starts with us. Generation Z is the final. This day might have been a struggle to have it voted, to have its votes, of becoming a federal holiday. Understanding that a federal holiday is a day when there's no need for work, but you are being paid, which is our desire of becoming smart workers, being paid while asleep. The peace of mind that is with the destination reached. Let this day mark our humble beginning of reaching enlightenment of the destination of no labor, but freedom, but completeness. It is time we begin to resonate with what is effective and what is right and what is stable. Freedom is not in labor, but rather in rest. Let us begin to practice the healthy, and it takes decreasing our population, which is by no longer multiplying or making infants, but ascending with wisdom and integrity of none left behind. Let this day be celebrated with the right mind of what the civil right is. The right mind, battlefield free, of none left behind, where the dark is the battlefield of the mind that must reverse to the battlefield free mind of both male and female becoming one mind. Free at last, free at last. Our children are born again, our youthfulness that never dies, the eternity that never ages. Let us hold the right mind and educate the young effectively so they get not confused in the way. Happy Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s Day, the first Black federal holiday, must fulfill its purpose and the others adding on. We are already completed. Black reaching light is already fulfilled. All what we are doing now is affirming and not contradicting. It's not about the black and white race. It's about the women coming to their senses and become equal with men, no matter their figure. Ice sublimes and water evaporates. Being solid does not stop us from traveling. Being softer does not neglect the harder form of our being. We all can travel into the gaseous free state of being, of no collision, where our freedom is transparency and no particles. Free at last, free at last. Thank you, Royalties of Peace, stealing the storm back to peace that has no storm, looking on to perfect peace. 2026 movement begins with the Black movement.